Well, I feel that 30 years ago, the mission wasn't really my mission as much as it is a mission for a whole country and a whole people. My role was probably the smallest role, albeit the most fun. But the country woke up to a group of its own people, working with an exceptional group at the NASA, with a country that's been a friend of Saudi Arabia for many years, since the inception of modern Saudi Arabia, working together to make a mission successful. And looking back, 30 years looks much shorter than in reality it is. We look back in enthusiasm. This is the third time we have held these 10-year events. We're very delighted to be here in the Smithsonian, right next to our own space shuttle Discovery, and having looked at the Discovery and its state now, and the kind of damage that has happened to it since multitude of flights, I don't think many of us would have been on the space shuttle if we looked at it sitting on the ground looking like that. But it has been really a mission that have transformed the minds of many young people of Saudi Arabia. Today we'll hear more from the science community of Saudi Arabia how much transformation has happened to the young people seeing their own people. There's nothing like seeing your own people doing something, especially in space. Space travel has transformed this country scientifically, the mind of its own people. So this mission is really much bigger than a person. It is a mission that has inspired us and that has taken us through 30 years to a lot of accomplishments. Saudi Arabia is one of the most accomplished countries today in the space sciences, and we're very delighted to be also joint venturing with NASA on many, many projects, one of which will be announced tonight. I think, technically speaking, as a pilot, probably the launch, but as a human being, is seeing Earth from space. I'd like to repeat a statement that I made 30 years ago and was published in many books, in the sense, with other astronaut statesmen, of course, that the thing that still lives with me until today, 30 years later, is that when I saw Earth for the first or second day, we were really looking for our countries. And then about the third or fourth day, we're looking for our continents. But truly, by the fifth day, and so much, with so much unawareness, in the sense, mental unawareness, that we can only see one Earth. And that very much has driven me throughout the last 30 years, and all my colleagues, I'm sure, to look at the world differently and to want to work harder and participate to make the world a better place. And I think beyond the joy of flying and traveling to space, and the camaraderies that have happened throughout the years, and the wonderful experience we had, there is a lot to say about space travel in the minds of people who do travel to space. I can tell you that also the experience was tremendous throughout the training. I have been touched in a big way by the people I worked with, very decent people. And the minds of people, when you talk about NASA, for instance, you think of scientists, very dry, very aloof in the sense. It's just been an amazing experience working on the ground, feet down, with wonderful people at all levels, from the astronauts to the scientists, to the trainers, to the staff, and to the administration, to make something like this happen, very complex mission like this happen. We believe that Saudi Arabia 30 years ago was fully able and willing to participate and make things happen. Saudi Arabia more so today is making things happen, and the partnership and the friendship with the United States is being solidified in so many fronts, and more to come, I'm sure. Well, I think after hesitation, I imagine, after the accidents of the space shuttle, our mission was the 18th mission. The accidents of the first accidents of the Challenger happened to the 25th mission. I remember that clearly. In January, our mission was actually in the summer. So that has set us back quite a bit, especially also for our part of it. We were supposed to be sending people every other year, and we were really enjoying a fantastic relationship that was solidified really by a meeting with President Reagan, which I was honored to have with my crew commander and His Highness Prince Bandar Sultan, the ambassador here then. And we were planning big time for the future. The successive missions and the delay in the space shuttle program, and of course thereafter the cancellation of the space shuttle has led things to go in a different way. Saudi Arabia has therefore used the time to develop space technology in all senses of the world, to develop the science base and the science knowledge among the Saudi young generations to be able to design and build and launch satellites and many other programs that are now being worked on with NASA and of course the Russian space program, the European space program, and the Japanese. So we've taken that time to solidify our work. I think the next 30 years will be very exciting. The playing field is different. Young people are different. You know, I have small children, and you can see a small boy or girl at 10 years old, way much more in the terms of the wide breadth of knowledge, how much information they get, the way they absorb information. So it's going to be a very different world. I imagine that people will hopefully will travel more to space and begin to use the knowledge base that we built here to make things better here on Earth before we travel for travel's sake. So I imagine a lot and much more to happen in technologies of medicine, travel, communication, and so on. Space has made a lot of what we enjoy today happen, and I think more so in the future, really. I think I had a unique opportunity, and unique opportunities don't come very often. I think more so now, space travel has become something of a dream to a lot of people. The commercialization of space, what they call space tourism. I don't know if 3 minutes looking at Earth from space is called tourism, but people are attracted by traveling to space. It's always been a dream. I would say to the young people to focus on, whether it's space or any other activity, focus on making the world better. For one single reason, looking at Earth from space in the more or less the blackness, the background of space with this very small, colorful, beautiful Earth, having come through 30 years now, I became much more aware of how we're damaging the Earth. I'm not just talking on the nature sense, but I'm talking also, not just in the environmental sense, but I'm talking also on the social and human interaction sense. I believe that we've come a long way, but we still have a long way to go. Unfortunately, as we look back, there are more wars today, more destruction today, and all that knowledge in hindsight has not yet come home in the sense to make it more mature and to make us more aware. I believe that the younger generations, and again, I'm in touch with my own children and my extended family and many others in schools and so on. The younger generation is really a very smart generation. And I think they should seize the opportunity to enjoy this immense world. If you got half of your brain in technology and developments and communication and the vast amount of information you get every day through the internet, touch of a finger, and so on, but the other half of the brain should be focusing on the quality of life, quality of friendship, quality of social interaction, and making life better, not just faster. So we hope we can talk about that more today, inshallah.